Hello, my people. Welcome to my synastry chart reading or my compatibility birth chart reading on Takeoff and Offset. Thank you all for being here. A couple days ago, I did a birth chart reading, compatibility reading on Takeoff and Quavo. Today, we're doing Takeoff and Offset. Thank you all for listening and watching. I've been super busy with personal readings, which is why I did not post for 2 days, I think, or a day or something like that. So thank you all for being here. If you would like your own personal reading, definitely you can text me at 703-791-9162. That is where you can reach me for a personal reading. I am also available for international clients as well. I do also have WhatsApp. You can email me at lamarr.townsend@gmail.com, or you can visit my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. That's the best way to reach me. That's the best place to go to get your reading, to get a personal reading from me. So if you'd be interested in that, I definitely would check out my website or text me, or you can email me. So definitely, by the way, I do have 2 YouTube channels. Oh, give me a second. I do have 2 YouTube channels. So I have my channel that you're watching right now, and then I have the second channel, Lamarr Townsend, formerly called Lamarr Does Life. This is more like my vlogging, cooking, lifestyle channel, but I also do the monthly horoscopes here as well. So if you want your monthly horoscope, subscribe to this channel. If you would like your own personal reading, then I would definitely once again check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. This is my website. So once you've reached this page, you know you're on the right page. You can scroll down and read reviews from people who have purchased readings from me. You can also scroll down and follow me down here on Instagram and Facebook. And if you would like your own reading, go right to the store section of my website. This is where you can go to view all the rates, services, products, classes, candles, and different types of things I do offer. I do offer email readings. I offer video recorded readings where you send your questions, and then I record myself doing your reading on my own time, and then I email you the video link to keep and download forever. I also do birth chart readings. I do phone readings. I do mediumship readings if you want to connect to the ancestors in the ancestral realm. I also do past life readings as well, so I definitely would check those out. Um, I do candles. I offer tarot classes, astrology classes, spiritual self-development classes if you're just kind of new to spirituality and want to learn more about spirituality. And there's a price point for everyone. I also do compatibility birth chart readings, much like the one we're about to do for Takeoff and Offset. So if you'd be interested in any of those things, then I would definitely check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Thank you all for being here. Let's get right into the video. Let's get right into the birth chart reading. All right. If I'm looking shiny, please forgive me. I just got out of the shower. All right. So I've done a reading on Offset, or not Offset. I've done a birth chart reading on Takeoff already. So I'm just gonna take the information from the birth chart reading I did on Takeoff that's already on my YouTube channel. We're just gonna plug everything in, and then we'll look up Offset's birth chart information or birthday information,
Again, there's something
so
where
that we
fate
can compare the 2 charts. So as you can see, I did a reading on, I did a birth chart reading on Takeoff 12 days ago. And I'm just going to take the information based on the chart that I put in here. And yeah, so it looks like Takeoff was born on June 18th, 1994. So we already know that the information here is correct. Oh, it looks like it's already in June. Oh, this is information from a client reading I had earlier. Let me take this off. But apparently the client was also born in June, so we're right there where we need to be. This client was born, it looks like maybe almost a year and 15 days before Takeoff. Interesting how that works. All right, so Takeoff was born on June 18th. June 18th, 1994, it looks like. And we can Google this to verify. I have the time set for 12 noon, which is 12 p.m. right smack dab in the middle of the day. Usually when I have the time set for 12 noon, that means I can't find the birth chart information or the birth time. So then I have to improvise, set the time at 12 noon, which is right in the middle of the day. Gives us 12 hours behind and 12 hours ahead to work with if we need to do a transit. And he was born in Atlanta, or we have the location set for Atlanta. I believe Atlanta, Georgia, specifically. I believe there were some discrepancy with the software we're using, and I think he was born in Lawrenceville, but I couldn't find the location. But Atlanta wasn't that far from Lawrenceville. All right, so we'll just go ahead and look at Takeoff's birthday. Takeoff birthday information just to verify the stuff we put in. So let's go ahead and Google that. Let's wait for it to pop up. He was born, as it says here, June 18th, 1994, in Lawrenceville. Here we have June 18th, 1994. Lawrenceville, Georgia, but here we have Atlanta, Georgia, because unfortunately, Lawrenceville does not show up on my software. Lawrenceville, Georgia, at least. Lawrenceville, I think there's something else. Lawrenceville, Ohio shows up, but not Lawrenceville, Georgia, so isn't that interesting? So we're just going to go ahead and use Atlanta, Georgia as the location for him, which is fine. It's in the same state and not that far off from Lawrenceville. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and look at Offset's birthday information. Let's look at Offset birthday information, and then let's go ahead and change the actual chart to a synastry chart. So what's showing up here is that Takeoff's chart information is going to show up here in the center. And Offset's chart information will show out here on the outside. So let me go ahead and move the camera so you guys can see me put in Offset's chart information. We're going to put Offset's chart information over here. Alright, so let's see. His birthday is... Oh, he's a December baby like me. Okay, he's born just a few days, or actually maybe a week and a little bit of change before me. I'm born December 27th, 1991. Wow, I thought Offset was older than me. Interesting. He's only like a week and some change older than me. Alright. Interesting. So Offset's chart is over here. So here we have 12... 14. Offset was born December 14th, 1991. Alright. And Google says he was also born in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Once again, Lawrenceville doesn't show up, so for Offset, we'll put Atlanta, Georgia as the location, similar to Takeoff. And the time, let's look and see if we can find Offset's birth time, maybe. Birth time. Sometimes it'll show up, sometimes it won't. We can look at astro charts and see what time they put for their birth chart information. But sometimes astro charts isn't always reliable. But these are celebrities, so it doesn't seem like astro charts has a time either. It seems like they just they're going off the same information that we have. So I definitely don't want to create my own basic astrology chart. Alright. I definitely want more in-depth. Nothing against astro charts, but you know. Alright, so I think we're gonna go with that. So we have once again Offset's information set. He was born December 14th, 1991 in Atlanta, or in Lawrenceville, Georgia, but we're using Atlanta, Georgia as the location. I'm going to go ahead and put Offset's chart similar to Takeoff's at 12 noon. Takeoff, we have June 18th, 1994, so Offset's the older one here. Takeoff was born also in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Here we have Atlanta, Georgia as his location, and also his chart set for 12 noon. Let's go ahead and get into the comparing of these two's natal charts. Alright, so once again, in the center we have Takeoff's chart. On the outside we have Offset's chart. Takeoff here is the Gemini sun. As we know, the sun in astrology does rule our connection to our life purpose, our higher self. It also does rule our sense of creativity, our sense of self-expression. The sun also does rule our childhood memories and things of this nature. Takeoff has his sun conjunct his Mercury in Cancer. This is most likely where his creativity came from in the form of music, in the form of writing, in the form of lyrics. Mercury deals with communication, intellect, the mind. His Mercury's in Cancer though, which is interesting. So it wouldn't actually necessarily be conjunct. I thought his Mercury, was in Gemini. But his Mercury's in Cancer actually retrograde, so I'm actually wondering if Takeoff had some sort of Mercury retrograde in Cancer could show him being actually a little bit shy to some degree. Mercury in Cancer could show him Takeoff could have been someone with Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Definitely would have been intuitive, who would have been, Like in terms of lyrics for Takeoff, he may have been someone who may have been able to put lyrics together that like to him may have had one meaning, but to like people who listened to the music and took in his lyrics, it can have like a double meaning almost, like a meaning that takes on its own kind of life with Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Very like conspiracy theorists, which can kind of relate to his passing in a lot of ways. There's a lot of conspiracy theories around that kind of thing. But with Mercury in Cancer retrograde, he would have been someone also who Takeoff would have been someone who I don't know if he like this could represent like almost like some sort of like speech impediment, maybe like particularly when he was young. This could be something he needed to overcome when he was young, and particularly because Mercury does rule our young childhood to young adult years. Mercury retrograde. This could be some sort of like form of like maybe shyness, being in your shell, ADHD, or it could be absolutely nothing wrong, no sort of impediment or anything like that. But it's like he could have been so much someone who was so in his shell at a young age, or so kind of like closed off that it made it seem like there was something wrong with him, but maybe there wasn't actually anything wrong with him. Takeoff to some degree, which is interesting. I've done quite a few readings in his chart. You always like notice different things in natal charts when you do them kind of more than once. It's like you notice new. It's like watching a movie more than once. You notice certain things in the movie that you didn't notice before, like or a TV show. All right, so Takeoff or Offset is actually a sun in Sagittarius, with his Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde and his Mars in Sagittarius retrograde. This would make Offset's Sun in Sagittarius, Mars in Sagittarius, and his Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde in opposition actually to Takeoff's Sun in Gemini. Gemini and Sagittarius are both polar opposite zodiac signs. So these were two people who actually moved in kind of opposite directions or in different directions. With Offset being a Sun in Sagittarius and Takeoff being a Sun in Gemini, these two most likely didn't always agree on certain things. It could be that Sagittarius deals with expansion. Sagittarius is associated with the ninth house, and the ninth house deals with also higher education, higher learning, expansion, growth. Being open-minded, optimistic, being optimistic. It can also be the energy of having good luck. So Offset may have had, in some way, shape, or form, a lot of good luck as compared maybe to Takeoff, where Takeoff had to kind of show and prove himself in some way, shape, or form. Maybe that could be seen with, like, for example, Offset getting with Cardi B, like in Cardi B elevating Offset's, like brander level, whereas like Takeoff just kind of had his own like austere, his own kind of like, his own kind of aesthetic or image. Like there was no one really like associated with, at least as far as I knew. Once again, I don't proclaim to be big fans of these people or this group. I'm just a big fan of astrology and delving deep into this type of stuff, the planets and things of this nature. So I don't know the details of like their music and things of that nature, but Takeoff may have more so been the one who had to like prove himself, in the form of music, in the form of like, no, this is me, this is my bubble, and everything outside my bubble, or everything outside the bubble, meaning like inside the bubble, meaning like his music, his creativity, his art, his contribution to the Migos, the group. It's like any everything outside of that, like he may have been more private about, more secretive about, especially with his Mercury in retrograde in Cancer. Cancer can be very private, very secretive. Cancer deals with the home and things of this nature. Whereas Takeoff or Offset does have his Mercury retrograde as well, but he has his Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. So Offset may be someone actually who's like maybe the opposite of Takeoff in the sense of like being really open, really being open minded, like really being open to the point of sometimes having no filter, especially with Mercury being retrograde here in Sagittarius. So Offset may be someone who like can like kind of trip over his own words, so to speak. He can be someone that can definitely have the potential to put his foot in his own mouth, kind of thing. Um, it's interesting though that they both have Mercury retrograde, so there may have been something like different with the both of them in particular, where Mercury retrograde, and I would actually love to if I could compare like a third chart and see Quavo's chart, because Mercury retrograde energy can actually be a little bit easy to manipulate mentally, or in terms of like controlling what they say in some way, shape, or form. So with these two people both having Mercury retrograde, it can show them being maybe a little bit easy to manipulate. It's kind of like dangling, a piece of meat, or dangling like money, in front of a person, because someone's triggers or someone's habits or someone's kind of pitfalls, or what will get them to say or do whatever it is you need them to say or do. That could be like Mercury retrograde. And remember, Mercury retrograde in general can be mishaps. Now, one thing with Mercury retrograde when you have it in your natal chart is that when there is actually a Mercury retrograde collectively happening, in real time, you tend to fare better, and you tend to you tend to experience it easier than people who don't have Mercury retrograde natally in their natal chart, or naturally in their natal chart. So it's interesting though, because Mercury retrograde can be someone who speaks in codes. Mercury retrograde can be someone who speaks like backwards kind of thing. So these two may be people who speak in codes, speak kind of like backwards, like once again, it's like that kind of energy where you kind of like have to dissect their lyrics, and like, were they saying this, or did they mean this when they said this in their lyrics, or did they mean that? Like, this is something that's apparent with Takeoff and Offset, probably more so Takeoff, because that Cancer Mercury gives him more mystery, and more nuances. But Offset may have more vocabulary. Offset, may, be good with his rhymes or his rhythm. That is like Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius also can be very humorous, so Offset may be very humorous in his lyrics in particular, maybe. Whereas Takeoff may be more like kind of like introspective, mulling over the day-to-day kind of situations of his life, or just in life in general. Like, this is how these two people can communicate on different opposites of the spectrum. Um, Takeoff does have his Mars in Sagittarius as well. Mars is how one moves, how one expresses their anger, their raw energy. Mars is also one's physical appearance, one's image. It's interesting because, like I said, Offset has his Mars in opposition to Takeoff's Sun in Gemini, which Sun deals with one's self-expression, creativity. I think these two had, the possibility of like having differences. To the point, now I will say Mars can deal with violence, once again. So like, maybe to the point, maybe at times where like violence ensued between these two to some degree. Maybe more so Offset towards Takeoff. Once again, this is kind of all alleged, for entertainment purposes only, of course. Wink, wink. But I have Mars in Sagittarius, and I also have my Mercury in Sagittarius, and I will have to say that we can also be very violent with our words as well. With Offset having a Mars in Sagittarius and a Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde, I don't have my Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde or my Mars. So, but with him having his Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde and his Mars in Sagittarius, Offset would have a little bit of a temper. He could get like frustrated or angry easily. All right. Now, this could also be specifically directed towards Takeoff, because this is all in opposition to Takeoff's Sun. Maybe particularly the way Takeoff expressed himself, the way Takeoff. And if you look at kind of the picture here we have here, like, it's interesting that Takeoff, like, by the way, I love Takeoff's outfit. But it's like, if you notice in the picture, and I'm big about body language, in the picture it looks like Offset's kind of holding his like arm or something like that. Like, it kind of represents like some sort of awkwardness or like disposition, maybe towards Takeoff, or his picture being taken in that moment. I'm not sure, but I'm talking about the picture that's showing right now. It's showing, right? Yeah. If you look at his hand, look at Offset, or look at Takeoff's hand, or look at Offset's hand next to Takeoff. Interesting. Body language says a lot. I'm just saying. So it's almost like Offset's like restraining himself in a way. So I definitely could see Offset having a temper. And these two not necessarily agreeing in the way both of them express themselves. I could see these two with these oppositions they have with the Sun, Mars, and Mercury, like arguing in the studio. Over, no, you should say this. No, you should say this. No, you should say it this way. No, you should say it this way instead. Now, Takeoff may be the one more so who would probably back down and be like, you know what, you got it, dog, you got it, bro. Whereas like maybe Offset will like oh, with all this like Sagittarius energy, he's gonna drive the point home some way, shape, or form. He's gonna get what he wants ultimately. And with that Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, Offset may at times not be able to read the room and be able to realize when he needs to kind of pull it back. Now, I do believe it's been said, because I saw some of your comments, in a couple of videos we've done. I think it's allegedly it's been said that Offset was not actually there at the event where Takeoff was shot, I believe. So once again, I don't know the circumstances around that, but I'm wondering, like, why wasn't Offset there? Of course, we know Offset has a family, he has his own things going on, but was there, like, a disagreement between these two in some way, shape, or form? Sagittarius can deal with higher knowledge, higher understanding, so did Offset to some degree know something? You know? I don't know. This is just all alleged, just from the energies I'm seeing in these natal charts. Alright. This is also in comparison to Takeoff's Mars in Taurus, conjunct Takeoff's Lilith in Taurus. So Takeoff with his Mars in Taurus was someone who was like more so, he was comfortable. Like Takeoff may have been someone with his Mars in Taurus where he was about like comfortability. He was about every move he made had to make sense. Like, and it also had to benefit him. So just even based off of this, like, like Mars and Taurus, there had to be some sort of benefit to him going to that actual event where he ended up getting shot and his life unfortunately got taken. Like, there had to be some sort of like benefit, or there had to be some sort of, what's the word I want to use? Spirit. What's the word? Incentive. Thank you, Spirit. There had to be some sort of incentive for him to go Takeoff to that actual space. Now, this is in comparison to Offset's Mars in Taurus, or Mars in Sagittarius, I'm sorry. Mars in Sagittarius marches to the beat of their own drum. Sagittarius is about freedom, open-mindedness, so Offset's going to be hard to tame. With his Mars in Sagittarius also conjunct his Mercury in Sagittarius, Offset will say something and like he'll do something else, or he'll do something and then say something else. So it's possible maybe that Offset was supposed to show up that day, but then like didn't show up for whatever reason. Maybe he lost track of time, or he didn't really want to go. Like he maybe flaked out. Because Sagittarius can be that kind of energy, especially with this Mars and Mercury retrograde. Mercury specifically, he can be a little bit of a flake. Like he can say something, or he's not one to commit. Especially with him, like with this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, he may even be someone who like may not, like, how you have some people in your life when you call them they don't answer the phone. By the way, I'm kind of one of those people. Like if you call me or text me, I may not answer you back right away or at all sometimes. It's my Mercury and Mars in Sagittarius. But Offset may be worse than me, because he has his Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius can be, especially in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius can be a little bit clumsy, not paying attention to the details. So Offset can like do something and really like not realize he's doing it, or realize he's doing it, but not realize he needs to change it or something like that. He can be very non-committal. So maybe in a way that saved his life that day, not being there, not committing to being there, maybe having other things to do, flaking out, whatever his excuse was, But this is, like I said, in comparison to Mars and Taurus for Takeoff. Now, I will say, with Takeoff with his Mars and Taurus, how long have we been talking, by the way? 24 minutes, okay. With his Mars and Taurus, see, I get in these natal chart readings, and I just, like, I lose track of time. It's crazy, but I don't want to lose track of what I'm saying, so let me just, focus. With Takeoff's Mars and Taurus, he's someone where, like, if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Offset, maybe not so much. If Offset says he's going to do it, it's maybe a 50% chance he may or may not, or it's a 75% chance, he may, or 25% chance he may not, or 25% chance he may, or 75% chance he may not. Especially with his Mercury retrograde. But Offset or Takeoff kind of has that energy as well with his Mercury retrograde in Cancer. But maybe Takeoff could probably be persuaded more easily, to be honest, than Offset. Uh, Takeoff has a sense of loyalty to him with his Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and his Mars in Taurus, and his Lilith in Taurus as well. This is in comparison to Offset's Lilith and Capricorn. So they actually have good synergy here in terms of their Lilith and Taurus and Lilith and Capricorn. To be honest with you, Takeoff and Offset, based on their Lilith compatibility, may have had similar enemies. So I'm almost like wondering, like, if it wasn't Takeoff, would it have been Offset? Allegedly, for YouTube entertainment purposes only, you know. If something didn't work with Takeoff, was it going to be Offset instead? Was Offset the original plan? Was, like, allegedly, once again. Now, I could see, like, why maybe Takeoff was chosen, because, like I said, and I've said this before, with Mars and Taurus and Lilith and Taurus, Takeoff was about his money. So that's why I think part of this could involve money. In comparison to Offset, Offset's Lilith is in Capricorn. Capricorn is about time, patience. Capricorn is self-discipline. Capricorn is fatherhood, which kind of makes me think maybe did Offset have father duties that day. Once again, this definitely could be, especially with all this Capricorn energy. Like he has like Offset has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets conjunct in Saturn. And it looks like Takeoff has 1, 2, 3, planets conjunct in Saturn, but these 3 planets are actually in opposition to his Mercury in Cancer, which makes me think once again, Takeoff was lured into the situation, but also like he went maybe against his better judgment. He was trapped. He was tricked. And maybe Takeoff was worth more money immediately, whereas Offset would have been worth more money in the long run with his Lilith and Capricorn. Um, Offset has his North Node retrograde in Capricorn. Capricorn does deal with one's career, professional destiny, status in society, fatherhood, the past, karma, things of this nature. South Node, his South Node would be in Cancer. And that's that like father energy, like the desire for like a family, taking care of one's family, nurturing those nurturing qualities. Like that's that side of Offset that we see. But with his North Node retrograde in Capricorn, Offset isn't as maybe at times committed to his career as he needs to be. He may be more committed to fatherhood, that fatherhood aspect of Capricorn, which is commendable. But in terms of maybe the overall higher arching powers that be, not as useful in the end game here, whatever the end game was, which may have been money, allegedly. All right. Child, let me take a sip of my coffee because I feel like I'm spilling a lot of tea. I am protected by my ancestors and my spirit guides in the Egyptian lineage. All right, so keep it cute out there. All right, just saying. Anyways, right, Fonzie? It's my cat over there. All right. Anyways, okay. So, like I was saying, Offset does have his Uranus in Capricorn. This is conjunct Takeoff's Uranus retrograde in Capricorn. Once again, someone in the same camps that they run may have been a culprit of this. Probably someone in the industry. And Offset might want to watch his back. Because Uranus is a group of people. Social networking. So it's someone they know. Either who was the actual person that did this or orchestrated this. Capricorn can be an orchestration. A hierarchy. A tyranny. A tyran. Is that what you would call that? A tyranny? You do as I say. Or else. That's Capricorn. You know, in this case, or else, ended the way it did. Once again, though, Capricorn is like the father, the disciplinarian. So, who is the overall arching father disciplinarian here? Is it a record executive? Like, I'm just saying. Offset has his Neptune in Capricorn conjunct Takeoff's Neptune retrograde in Capricorn. Once again, this may involve secrets. This may involve things that happen behind the scenes that we don't see. Smoke and mirrors. We're being told one thing, but the streets know something else in this case. The streets being the industry, work, professionalism, things of this nature. Alright? So, Capricorn can also deal with the past and karma. So this could be maybe retribution for something else. Karma playing out in the form of humans taking the form of karma. But of course, that's not how karma quite works, you know? Anyways, or at least not my belief of karma. Offset has his Lilith in Capricorn. We talked about that. Once again, Lilith is kind of the darker side of one's personality, the shadow aspect of one's personality. Capricorn can be prone to like ruining one's reputation, seeking to ruin one's reputation. Capricorn knows their worth. So the fact that Offset was not there that day like means something. Like he was not there for a reason. He may have had other obligations, but if Offset wanted to be there, he would have been there. And Capricorn also rules time. Interesting. Offset Saturn is in Aquarius, in contrast to Takeoff Saturn in Aquarius. Or, I'm sorry, in contrast to Takeoff Saturn in Pisces. Pisces deals with, once again, life behind closed doors, secrecy. I don't know, I think Takeoff may have been involved in certain things that we don't really know about, to be honest with you. Not taking away from his passing. But you know how... Is that confirmation, Spirit? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Why is I think my window's open. Why is someone driving like that at 5 o'clock in the morning? Really? Anyway. Ooh, child. Maybe I need to stop on the coffee for now. Okay, so Saturn in Pisces. So, like I was saying, he may have been in some things behind the scenes that we don't really know about. Now, I will say Pisces does deal with music, creativity, a spiritual connection. So Takeoff could have been highly spiritual as well. But there was more to Takeoff than we know that meets the eye. And I'm wondering also who's Takeoff's father was, because we could probably learn a lot about Takeoff just from his father alone. Offset with his Saturn in Aquarius. Aquarius once again deals with groups, friends, acquaintances, social networks, social media, the internet, technology. So with Offset's Saturn in Aquarius, I also have Saturn in Aquarius, and it makes sense because now I get it. Why me and Offset has to have such similar chart placements, because Offset was literally born a week and some change before I was. If this is all correct, because sometimes celebrities lie about their age. Anyway, moving on. All right, with Offset Saturn in Aquarius, he definitely would. This is always like a career that's more unconventional in a lot of ways. I would definitely say that Offset's career is very unconventional, being a music artist, whatever it is he does. I assume he also gets money in other ways too. Saturn in Aquarius can be very much like connected to like making money through. Saturn in Aquarius can be having connections, first of all, but Saturn in Aquarius can be making money through like investments, property ownership, things of this nature, something dealing with social media, the internet, technology. Saturn can be very much like ahead of the curve, so I wouldn't be like surprised if Offset's into stocks and like Bitcoin and stuff like that behind the scenes. I don't know if he's ever talked about that before. Alright, let's kind of round this out. So, once again, Offset and Takeoff are both millennials because they both have Pluto and Scorpio here. However, Takeoff has his Pluto retrograde in Scorpio, and Offset has his Pluto direct in Scorpio. Offset also has his Venus in Scorpio. So once again, Offset, Pluto is the planet of death. Pluto is the planet of evolution and change. With your Venus in Scorpio, Offset, I definitely would be careful of who it is that you marry, who it is that you spend time around or are associated with. No shade to Cardi B, but with his Venus in Scorpio being conjunct his Pluto in Scorpio, and this whole situation with Takeoff, we're ruling out all suspects. Okay, this is like an episode of Scream, or like Scream, a new movie of Scream, and we're trying to figure out who the killer is. Everyone's a suspect. Okay, period. It is what it is there. And this is in comparison. I'm just kidding, but wink, wink. Allegedly for YouTube entertainment purposes. So, Takeoff has his Pluto retrograde in Scorpio, conjunct his North Node in Scorpio, conjunct his Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio. That Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio, man. This is all conjunct Offset's Venus in Scorpio and Pluto in Scorpio. This all tells me that they run in the same groups, they run in the same camps. Whoever it is that orchestrated this whole situation with Takeoff, or this whole situation in general, is still out there, and still has the potential to be connected to Offset. To be honest with you, whether Offset knows this or not. Period. All right. This placement solidifies Offset's connection forever to Takeoff, and his passing as well, his death. This is that relationship now that's taken that form. Offset will forever now be asked about Takeoff, and for years to come. 20 years from now, they'll be asking him, if Takeoff was still alive 20 years later, what do you think? This is just a part of his legacy now. His passing. So now he has to come to terms and rectify it. But also come to terms and rectify maybe the people around him aren't who he thought they were or are. So Offset, I know Cardi B, is I think she's Dominican or something like that. So I know she may be into magic and stuff like that. So I would definitely be making sure she's doing protection spells around you. All right. Now Offset, you do have Jupiter in Virgo, as I do as well, and your vertex in Virgo. This is in comparison to Takeoff's vertex in Capricorn, and his Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio. Offset, you're just more cautious. I think there's something where you need to watch your back, but I just think Takeoff, out of the three of you or the two of you, was just easier to maybe take advantage of or to lure in. Once again. With your Jupiter and Virgo, Offset, you're way more cautious. Like me, with Jupiter and Virgo, we're the types of people where it's like, no, we need to know all the facts. We need to know who all is over there. We need to know what time. We need to know, what time do the refreshments start? What time does the party start? We need to know all the details. Otherwise, we're not showing up. We're not coming. So, I could see that with you, Offset, especially with your vertex in Virgo. You have some degree, it's like the energy of, how as kids we used to play the game of don't step on the cracks, or you break whatever's back. It's like kind of like that with Offset. Offset could be very superstitious, very cautious with his Jupiter conjunct his vertex in Virgo. He understands how all this works already. I just think Takeoff, unfortunately, was easier to lure in. And ironically, he was the youngest one, too. So, this is so sad. I hate this. I hate to end on this note, but, I don't have any more for you all. This is, this is pretty much everything. Alright, we've looked at everything in this chart. Were they enemies? I think they definitely had their, kind of they may have had moments between them, but they actually had a lot more in common, than maybe they even knew. And still to this day. So, offset, I would be doing those protection rituals, alright? Alright, you guys, if you guys want your own natal chart reading from me, or birth chart reading, or compatibility reading, definitely check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. There's a lot going on lately with the celebrities. There was someone I wanted to read on, but I can't even remember now who it was, because I've just been doing client readings all day, and now here I am doing this reading on Takeoff and Offset. So I don't know, but we're going to be diving into other topics here. Thank you all so much for 60k subscribers. We're finally at 60,000 subscribers. That is so crazy to me. I never thought we would make 60,000 subscribers. I remember when I had 6,000 subscribers. So child, it is what it is. I love it. Thank you all for your support. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Thank you all so much. Once again, if you want your own psychic tarot reading, birth chart reading, candles, classes, or anything like that, mediumship reading, or past life reading, contact me at lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Love and light. I've got some clients to get to, and other content to get to. So I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you in your own personal reading. Either way, I will see you soon. Psychic with a T, the psychic with the T, that's me, that's me. The one with the T, the one with the T, that's me, that's me. When the planets align, spirit speaks on time, that's me, that's me. When the planets align, spirit speaks on time, that's me, that's me. When the trolls be gone, candle work be strong, that's me, that's me. When the trolls be gone, candle work be strong, that's me, that's me. I don't care what the others say, let's channel some energy today. I don't care what the others say, let's channel some energy today. Capricorn, Virgo, Libra strong, this tarot card reading about to be long. Capricorn, Virgo, Libra strong, this tarot card reading about to be long. Psychic with a T, the psychic with the T, that's me, that's me. The one with the T, the one with the T, that's me, that's me. When the planets align, spirit speaks on time, that's me, that's me. When the planets align, spirit speaks on time, that's me, that's me. When the trolls be gone, candle work be strong, that's me, that's me. When the trolls be gone, candle work be strong, that's me, that's me.